Sony's PSP was a marvel when it was released in 2005. I don't think anyone knew just how much it advanced the portable gaming space, as well as the extra features that most of us carry around in our pocket. These days, we just take for granted how much our phones can do, from video calling to augmented reality gaming, watching TV, reading books, as well as being able to take quality photos and videos. But back in 2005, Sony didn't want to make a portable handheld version of their games. They wanted to have a console experience portably and added some features that weren't available in phones and devices at that time. So in today's video, we're going to be looking at the Sony PSP camera. This was Sony's attempt at an all-in-one device, but how well did it actually work out, and does it still hold up today? Don't forget, if you like what you see here on the channel, don't forget to give us a like, a comment, and subscribe to us, because me and my buddy Graham, we've been doing this for a little while now and we're really trying to make the channel grow. Now let's get on to the video. So, Sony released its first Go Cam back in 2006 in Japan, and it was brought to the West in 2007. The Go Cam was a 1.3 megapixel camera that was similar to what could be found in a phone from that time. At the time, it could record video 480 by 272 at 30 frames a second, and it could also take photographs at 1280 by 960. This was actually surprisingly good for a games console, don't you think? I recently managed to grab one from a second-hand seller store over here in the UK called CEX, and I paid around £30 for it, which isn't too bad at all, because I know they can go upwards of £50. I recently took the Game Boy camera out to London, and I had a bunch of fun taking photos of all of the sites, so I thought, I know, why don't we go off to Bath? It's a very pretty city, and see how this actually holds up in the real world. So Bath is just one of those really cool places. It's really vibrant, and on this day it was absolutely gorgeous. There's just so much to see, but one of the main things I was interested in was doing a little bit of game hunting. So I took it into CX and had a little look around at some of the games. Now it was a little bit darker in here, so you can see it's a little bit more grainy, but it still coped with it pretty well, to be fair. It wasn't too bad. It still was able to pick up the games. And even though it's still quite blurry, you can still make out what the titles are and the prices, so it wasn't too bad. Then we checked out the main street, and again, the architecture here is what really sells this place. There's a giant cathedral as well, which is also one of the main selling points of coming to Bath. So one of the things that really surprised me was I came across this guy who was playing the piano, and it amazed me just how clear the audio actually was. You can hear people talking, you can hear the piano, and overall it was pretty impressive for the time. So have a listen and see what you think. So with this first camera, to my knowledge, all that it was used for was making Skype phone calls and taking cool photos and videos. However, you could do a little bit of light editing on this thing as well with a program called Go Edit. This was very limited software, however, you were able to record around 15 seconds worth of footage and edit it slightly. It was actually a really cool thing, and considering this was back in 2007, absolutely incredible. Then in 2010, Sony decided to revise the camera for an upcoming title that was being released called Invisibles. This was an augmented reality game similar to Pokemon where you have to catch animals, and to be fair, it actually had some really good success, and it went on to have sequels on the PS3, PS Vita, as well as Android and iOS. However, this camera was inferior to its predecessor. This newly named camera, the PSP 450X, had a 0.3 megapixel camera for taking photos and a maximum resolution of 640 by 480. And the video, it did 480 by 272 at 30 frames a second, which to be fair was exactly the same as the other camera. Even though the resolution was the same, obviously the quality had diminished because of those extra pixels being missing. This camera was noticeably worse quality and probably attributed to its smaller, sleeker design. So I tested out this Invisibles game, and it is really struggling, to be honest with you. Again, it's very early technology. This wasn't even a thing prior to this little camera coming out, so it doesn't really surprise me, but at the same time, they definitely could have done a better job. It's very cheesy as well. One of the things that I picked up on was just how bad the acting was in it.
Is he thinking? I mean,
Yeah, something tells me it isn't the PSP that's not functioning. But one of the things that really shocked me about this was they actually had Brian Blessed in this game. I mean, that was a complete and utter shocker, because he's such a legend.
Oh, they most certainly are. Skillful hunters of invisibles.
Okay. This is weird.
So one of the other things that I'm purely putting down to the fact that it was such early technology is the fact that it wasn't very responsive with the game.
What a load of bollocks!
You can see here I like kind of slap the monster thing and it doesn't work. So I just put that down, like I said, to the fact that, you know, it's really early technology, but even so, it's just something to be noted that if you are going to go back and play some of these games, don't expect it to be as responsive as what you used to with your mobile phone. The redesign is very typical of Sony, and for some reason they didn't put as much effort into the successor of the PSP camera. Why they did that, I don't know. It's a very Sony thing to do. But either way, if you can get your hands on one, definitely worthwhile having a bit of fun with it. So there we go. That was the camera for the PSP. Tell me down in the description below what you guys thought of it. I gotta be fair, I love this little thing. And even though it's not really something that you would use day to day in everyday life, because of the fact that we have phones, I still think it's a ton of fun to have for the PSP. Either way, I still find it absolutely crazy that they released this little device. And if you liked what you saw today, there will be more stuff coming up because the PSP actually had a ton more accessories. So don't forget to hit subscribe if you want to check out some more of that stuff. So everyone, thank you for watching and we'll see you on the next one.